So March is Brain Injury Awareness Month, and so Catie and I want to tell you a little bit about our journey with that. So in 2016, Catie slipped and fell and hit her head, but she crushed her ankle, and so our focus was on her ankle. We did not know about the brain injury, and I wasn't there, so I didn't see it, and she didn't remember it. And doctors were focused on her ankle. But right away, we started noticing that she wasn't able to get her words out very well. She started having memory issues and mood changes, personality changes. Of course, everybody thought it was mental health, so that's where the journey started. But it quickly became clear to me something else was going on. So began seeking doctors and trying to figure out what was happening to my daughter. And things got much worse before they got better. She started having seizures, and she was put on anti-seizure and mood stabilizing medications, and it got really bad. So I don't know if you've seen the movie Brain on Fire, but it was like that, only with severe PTSD and added into all of that, and nausea and dizziness. She lost 100 pounds, and I literally thought my daughter was dying. So one of the places that we went to was the Amen Clinic, and if you don't know who they are, and if you're having any kind of brain issues, I say go to the Amen Clinic, because they will at least listen to you. We saw many neurologists before we found the neurologist that actually gave Catie her diagnosis and set us on a path of her getting better. But one of the reasons we even knew to check that was because we had taken her to the Amen Clinic, and they did what's called a SPECT scan, and it's a long process, and if you go to their website it will explain it, but the SPECT scan revealed some things, but also their neurologist was kind enough to look at the MRI that I finally, after 8 months, had gotten, where they said they couldn't find anything, and that neurologist looked at her MRI and said, I think they missed a brain injury, and told us to go back and have it done, reread and done again, and sure enough, that's what happened. And ended up going to the University of Washington and to their specialists there, and they confirmed that my daughter did indeed suffer what's called a mild traumatic brain injury. And mild only means that you were unconscious less than 30 minutes. It does not mean that you don't have severe symptoms and really bad stuff happening. It just means that you were unconscious for less than 30 minutes. The other thing about mild brain injury that people don't realize, or concussions, I know people talk a lot about concussions now, but one of the other things that is interesting about mild traumatic brain injury is it affects so many parts of the brain. It just depends on what's injured, and it may not even show up on MRI, because the brain runs off of chemicals and hormones, and shearing injuries don't really show up on MRI unless you have bleeding, that kind of trauma, or a tumor or something, which we did find Catie has what's called a cavernoma. One neurologist said it's no big deal. Other neurologists say they need to be watched. Just depends. But the point is that a mild traumatic brain injury can cause all sorts of symptoms: memory loss, seizures, inability to sleep, nausea, dizziness. And these symptoms may not start right away. They may not start for a month or two, or they'll start right from the get-go. Everybody's brain is different. And Catie's symptoms got worse, and then we put her on medications to make that better, and those medications got worse. One, in fact, gave her lupus and even Stevens-Johnson's rash, which is this terrible allergic reaction. So my daughter's been through this terrible ordeal, but thank God the brain can get better. The brain gets better. And so once we got her off all medications, she started to get better, and we put her in physical therapy and equine therapy and cognitive therapy and speech therapy, and she started doing Tai Chi and these things so her brain could reconnect to her body, and slowly she's getting better. It's been about 3.5, almost 4 years since she hit her head, but there for a while she had almost lost her ability to talk and walk. And now she weighed 98 pounds, but now she's healthy weight, and overall she's doing better and can walk and talk. Her memory's still kind of jacked up. Little bits come and go and whatnot, but a concussion or a mild traumatic brain injury is no joke, friends, at all. And what you see in someone that you think immediately, oh, that person's got a mental health issue, it may not be. They may have hit their head. They may be suffering from symptoms and being misdiagnosed, getting the wrong treatments, and you can't get well with the wrong treatments. So what have I learned from this? The brain is super important. I'm surprised we don't all walk around wearing helmets all the time. But I encourage people who are dealing with this stuff, just keep going till you find the right doctors. Go until you get the help, because once we started getting her the therapies, she started improving, and she's slowly getting her life back. And so that's the mom perspective of this, and I'm gonna talk to Catie with you guys, so you can hear her perspective and what she's been through from her point of view. Tomorrow she has what will hopefully be her last MRI for at least a year, or I'm hoping they say she doesn't have to come back for 2, because she was having them every 6 months, and then she was having them, the last one was a year apart, and so hopefully this will be the last one for a while, and we're gonna tape it tomorrow. So anyway, that's it for the mom part.